This is a portion of the Democratic debate where Hillary Clinton basically admits that she's part of the establishment. She admits that she has the support of a large number of people who actually do represent the establishment. And during this particular exchange, Bernie's going to basically lay out what he considers the establishment. And if there's one group that the Clintons are definitely known to be dead in the middle of, it's the establishment.
Secretary Clinton, you know, the person who first put out the idea of a 50-state party strategy is former Governor Howard Dean, who's with us tonight. And I'm very proud and grateful to have the support of so many elected Vermonters and former officials. Two former governors, the current governor, the current other senator. I really appreciate that. And I think it's because they've worked with me. They've seen what I do. They know what a kind of a colleague I am. They want me as their partner in the White House. And that's exactly what I will do. We'll get things done together. Democrats, Republicans, independents, we're going to make progress together when I'm president.
Senator Sanders, to this point, Secretary Clinton is raising the issue of endorsements by your home state Democrats. She's implying that says something about the people who know you best.
Well, I don't see it quite like that. Will absolutely admit that Secretary Clinton has the support of former governors, mayors, members of the House. She has the entire establishment, or almost the entire establishment, behind them. That's a fact. I don't deny it. But I am pretty proud that we have over 1 million people who have contributed to our campaign, averaging $27 a piece, that we have had meetings where 30,000 people have come out, that our campaign is a campaign of the people, by the people, and for the people. So, Rachel, yes, Secretary Clinton does represent the establishment. I represent, I hope, ordinary Americans, and by the way, who are not all that enamored with the establishment, but I am very proud to have people like Keith Ellison and Raul Grijalva in the House, the co-chairman of the House Progressive Caucus.
Well, look, I've got to just jump in here because, honestly, Senator Sanders is the only person who I think would characterize me, a woman running to be the first woman president, as exemplifying the establishment. And I've got...
Yeah, and since when, just because you're a woman, that you're not part of the establishment? You and your husband are what, by definition, is called the establishment.
Tell you that it's really quite amusing to me. People support me because they know my life's work, they have worked with me, and many have also worked with Senator Sanders. And at the end of the day, they endorse me because they know I can get things done. I am not going to make promises I can't keep. I am not going to talk about big ideas like single payer and then not level with people about how much...
Since when is single payer a big idea? That's the idea that the progressives pushed at the beginning of Obama's first term, and because the Republicans weren't going to go along with it, and because Obama decided he was going to try to compromise with them somewhat, that's why we have the current system of Obamacare that we had. If he had shown some balls and decided to hell with the Republicans and push through single payer, the country would be better off at the present time. But because he's a centrist, we now have Obamacare. But for Clinton to say big ideas, that's what progressives do. They push forward big ideas and they try to get them done, unlike Mrs. Clinton, who wants to take a more centrist viewpoint, though she does mention all of the buzzwords that moderates will say in order to try to pull as many people to her as possible.
It will cost, a respected health economist said that these plans would cost $1 trillion more a year. I'm not going to tell people that I will raise your incomes and not your taxes and not mean it. Because I don't want to see the kind of struggle that the middle class is going through exemplified by these promises that would raise taxes and make it much more difficult for many, many Americans to get ahead and stay ahead. That is not my agenda.
See, and then she's being disingenuous because, yes, Bernie Sanders, in order to go to single payer, did state that he would have to raise taxes slightly. But and where Clinton and all the rest of the people that are shooting at him fail to mention, he's going to get rid of premiums. Now, as an example, if you're paying $700 a month in premiums, you're paying approximately $8,400 a year in premiums. If taxes are raised approximately $3,000, the net in your pocket is going to be $5,400. And I know that the everyday guy would prefer to have that $5,000 in his pocket so that he can go out and spend it, which would in turn help to boost the economy up because we are a consumer-based economy, and that would further help us to, number one, reduce deficits, and two, put more people back to work.
What being part of the establishment is in the last quarter having a super PAC that raised $15 million from Wall Street, that throughout one's life raised a whole lot of money from the drug companies and other special interests. To my mind, if we do not get a handle on money in politics and the degree to which big money controls the political process in this country, nobody is going to bring about the changes that is needed in this country for the middle class and working families.
Yeah, but I think it's fair to really ask what's behind that comment. You know, Senator Sanders has said he wants to run a positive campaign. I've tried to keep my disagreements over issues as it should be. But time and time again, by innuendo, by insinuation, there is this attack that he is putting forth, which really comes down to, you know, anybody who ever took donations or speaking fees from any interest group has to be bought. And I just absolutely reject that, Senator. And I really don't think these kinds of attacks by insinuation are worthy of you. And enough is enough. If you've got something to say, say it directly, but you will not find that I ever changed a view or a vote because of any donation that I ever received. And I have stood up and I have represented my constituents to the best of my ability, and I'm very proud of that. So I think it's time to end the very artful smear that you and your campaign have been carrying out in recent weeks. And let's talk about the issues. Let's talk about the issues that divide us. And let's talk we about both issues. Agree with campaign finance reform.
Let's talk about issues.
I worked hard for McCain-Feingold. I want to reverse Citizens United.
Let's talk about issues. Let's talk about issues. All right, let's talk about why in the 1990s Wall Street got deregulated. Did it have anything to do with the fact that Wall Street spent billions of dollars on lobbying and campaign contributions? Well, some people might think, yeah, that had some influence. Let's ask why it is that we pay by far the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs, and your medicine can be doubled tomorrow, and there's nothing that the government can do to stop it. You think it has anything to do with the huge amounts of campaign contributions and lobbying for the fossil fuel industry? Let's talk about climate change. Do you think there is a reason why not one Republican has the guts to recognize that climate change is real and that we need to transform our energy system? Do you think it has anything to do with the Koch brothers and ExxonMobil pouring huge amounts of money into the political system? That is what goes on in America. There is a reason why these people are putting huge amounts of money into our political system. And in my view, it is undermining American democracy, and it is allowing Congress to represent wealthy campaign contributors and not the working families of this country.
Senator, I don't think you can find any person in political life today who has been subjected to more attacks and had more money spent against her by special interests, among whom you have named a few, than I. And I'm proud of that. You know, when I took on the drug companies and the insurance companies for universal health care coverage, they went after me with a vengeance. Today, you've got hedge fund billionaires aligned with Karl Rove running ads against me to try to get Democrats to vote for you. I know this game. I'm going to stop this game. But while we're talking about votes, you're the one who voted to deregulate swaps and derivatives in 2000, which contributed to the over-leveraging of Lehman Brothers, which was one of the culprits that brought down the economy. So I don't know. I'm not impugning your motive because you voted to deregulate swaps and derivatives. People make mistakes, and I'm certainly not saying you did it for any kind of financial advantage. What we've got to do as Democrats, is to be united to actually solve these problems. And what I believe is that I have a better track record and a better opportunity to actually get that job done. That's what this election should be about.
Well, if that's true, then why did she vote to get rid of Glass-Steagall, which she definitely did? Now, she's over here circling the wagons on quite a few things, but the bottom line is the pharmaceutical companies, the big banks, they contribute to everybody. They contribute more to the Republicans than to the Democrats because they know that they can easily get more out of the Republicans than the Democrats. But then they hedge their bets, assuming that the Democrats are going to get in. So they're contributing to their campaigns as well in order to get access and to try to exert at least some influence on where they're going. So what she's saying is basically totally wrong. And everybody knows it. If a regular guy gets $500 for not walking through a door at a certain time, knowing that if they walk through that door, that the person who gave them the money will be damaged, but if they delay in walking through that door until that person is no longer damaged and then walk through, you can't prove that they changed their mind because they actually did in fact walk through that door. But it's just the timing of walking through that door and the motive of walking through that door that you can't question because you don't know what's in a person's heart. But in this particular case, I think we all know that if she's taken all of this money from all of these various special interest groups, that they at least can whisper in her ear. Now, whether she listens to them and acts wholeheartedly, that's one question. But without a doubt, they are whispering in her ear, and that whisper will have an effect.
I think as Secretary Clinton knows, there is nobody who fought hard. I was on the House Financial Committee at that point. I heard the arguments coming from Democrats and Republicans, Robert Rubin, Alan Greenspan, about how great an idea it would be if we did away with Glass-Steagall and if if we allowed investor banks and commercial banks and big insurance companies to merge. Go to YouTube today, look up Greenspan Sanders. Listen to what I told them then. I helped lead the effort against deregulation. Unfortunately, we lost that. The result was the worst financial disaster since the Great Depression. Thank you.
See, so he's right. You know, he's been pretty much right on every issue that he's really made decisions on, and he hasn't, you know, waited 3, 4, 5, 6 months in order to make a decision. He's made his decisions pretty quick. Whereas Clinton, on the other hand, basically ovulates back and forth, double talking, trying to give herself time to see where the public's going to be before she actually makes her decision. So she's full of crap, and there's no way that I can vote for her.